to twitch.tv/2MB Studios. I, of course, am your host, S. This evening, Misinformation. You know me, you've seen me, you've been here. It's 7 p.m. on 2MB Studios. It's a fun time. We're about to play a game called That Sounds Right. I see we have other Dave Thomas in the chat reminding me, as he does every week, that he has won this show twice. That's absolutely true. And as such, other Dave Thomas is a proud holder of the 2MB Studios graduate degree. Tonight, we have 3 brand new contestants here. And we have with me, as always, is my co-host, Will Actually. Will, welcome. Welcome back.
Good to see you, Misinformation. So glad to be here today. How the heck are you?
Oh, I'm the heck good, Will. I'm really excited tonight. I'm excited to get these 3 contestants on. I am excited to hear some truths. I am excited to hear some not so truths. And all in all, I think we're going to have a great time tonight hearing some information that, again, may or may not be correct.
Yeah, we're going to have a great time focusing on the correct part of all that. You know, one thing you said that I want to correct, actually, starting off, is that we have 3 new contestants, but the same old Will Actually. I am also brand new. I let go of last week, and I'm going to start this week fresh with the hope and optimism and enthusiasm that we're going to get all the right answers to the people who deserve them.
I gotta say, I'm so thrilled to hear that. I'm relieved, actually, because last week, if I remember correctly, I didn't do so well getting the answers correct, as you often like me to.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly had better weeks, but it wasn't the worst week that you've had, certainly not at all.
Well, you know, as you know, Will, I think that all of my weeks are great because whether or not I get the answers correct, I always choose the answer that to me sounds right. And I think that's the beautiful thing about this game show here.
That's the something about it, Misinformation. That is the something.
Thanks for being here, Will. We also have 3 contestants here. I'm excited to get them on here with me. So without further ado, let's bring on our first contestant. Will, can you pop our first contestant in here for me? Welcome. Hello, Masood. So happy to have you here. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, hi, I'm Masood. I do comedy and stuff in Chicago. I also stream a lot, playing a lot of like tabletop role-playing games. But most importantly, I am about to speak with a lot of confidence about stuff I don't know, so get ready for it.
Masood, I'm so glad that you shared your strategy with us because it sounds like the optimal strategy. Speak with confidence, and you'll go far in this game. We've learned that time and again. I'm
thinking myself as a white man today, so I'm really trying to inspire that as much as I can.
You know, you've got the right attitude, Masood. Thank you so much for being here. Who else have we got here? We'll bring on our next contestant. We've got Rachel.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Rachel. You may have seen me. I'm on this channel a lot. Yeah. That's mostly what I do. That's all I do is be on this channel.
Rachel, it's great. It's great to have you here back on this channel. And for the first time on this show, we finally have you here. I'm so excited.
Yeah. You know, I'm not one to volunteer my talents at seeming what I'm talking about. But today it felt like the day for me to finally kind of show everyone what I'm capable of, which is not to sound necessarily more confident than usual, but just to sound equally confident no matter which question it is. I just have to keep the level of confidence consistent rather than high, because if I know if I go too high, it'll just get choppy like waters during a storm.
Wow, Rachel, that was such a beautiful simile. And, I think it really painted a picture of what we're going to expect from you tonight on this show. Really excited to have you here. And we have one more contestant coming on. Welcome to the show, Ben. Hello.
Hey, good to see you. How's everybody doing? I'm Ben Sandler, and I'm a performer at Improv Boston when that's a thing that people can perform at. Yeah. Also a writer with Cat Stash Productions. We made a feminist romance novel live, and we're working on a new podcast. I'm trying to adapt a different strategy from either of the other 2 contestants. So my strategy is to completely lose all touch with reality, so I don't know what's real or not, and then I can speak with the same level of confidence.
Wow, Ben, that's the first time I've heard of that particular strategy on this show. And I have to say, it might end up being just the best way to go.
Well, if it works for flying dolphins, then it's going to work for me.
That's great, Ben. I think that strategy is going to bring you far in this game. And I'm excited to have all of you here on this show. That sounds right. If it's your first time here, audience, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to ask a question. 2 of these contestants are going to be making answers up on the spot with no information about this topic. And one of these contestants will be giving a correct, rehearsed answer, although I and maybe you have no idea which one. So our job is to figure out, again, not who's right, but who sounds the most right. And that's who's going to walk away with a diploma from 2MB University, the most prestigious university in the country. And that's actually true. So here we go on our first question. We're off to the races. Question 1 of round 1 of this show tonight is, what is Skidbladnir, and what makes it so special? All right, what is this? What is this thing? You see the word at the bottom of your screen. Once again, I'm going to try to say it, and I'm going to say it as Skidbladnir. Who knows if that's correct, but it sounds right to me. What makes this so special? Rachel, what is Skidbladnir, please?
Sure. So Skidbladnir, first of all, you pronounced it absolutely correctly. You nailed it. And we don't always nail that word. It's obviously a hard word. There's a lot of dots on it. But yeah, it's 4 dots. I didn't even count them. So Skidbladnir is a water body in the Nordic region of Europe. And you may be wondering, what is so special about a water body? Is it particularly nutritive, and it's actually home to the only kind of fish. There's a particular fish in this water body that is very strong. It can move very strong rocks with its nose, and that's how they create little homes for their fish babies, for their fish kin. A very strong fish in the water body moves rocks with its nose.
Okay, Rachel, that was a really exciting answer. That had a lot of great details. I can tell already that you're coming to win tonight. Masood, what's your answer?
It's actually pronounced Skidbladnir. The line over it means you pronounce the D twice. It's Norwegian, and it's the stinkiest fish in the world. It's actually packaged in a tin, and when you open it, it's described as one of the most disgusting, smelly foods you could ever take. But yeah, that's what is Skidbladnir.
Skidbladnir. Thank you so much, Masood. That sounds right to me. I can absolutely see this word meaning stinky fish. It could be true. Ben, what's your answer?
Well, I mean, everybody else did get it right that it is like a Norwegian thing, but it's actually really old. It's like the Skidbladnir is the ship of the Viking gods, so it's like the best ship in the world. And also what makes it special is that you can fold it up and like put it in your pocket, because like if you're a god and you want a boat, like you don't want to have to go like to the ocean to get your boat and like bring it to the next ocean. You just want to be able to like whoop.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah,
sure. Rachel, we've heard all the answers, so please, what's your follow-up question for this?
Why do gods need boats?
I mean, have you ever seen a boat like a yacht or something? Like, gods don't just do stuff because it's like practical. Like, gods aren't about practicality.
Yeah, Ben, that's a good point. And Rachel, I'm not here to declare a winner of your follow-up question, but if I were, it would probably be Ben, because now that I think of it, if I were a god, I probably would want a boat. I want one right now, and I don't expect that to change just because I'm a god. I mean, I'm not going to lose who I am.
Are you planning to become a god?
I wouldn't mind. I'm going to throw it out there.
You wouldn't let becoming a god change you, is what you're saying?
I wouldn't let it change me.
No, not at all.
I would stay grounded.
Still take boats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. I would still take boats. I would still take vehicles. I wouldn't spurn the ocean. These are 3 great answers. But if I'm being honest, by the way, chat, jump in with who you think sounds the most right, because I love to take I love to take chat input on these answers. Let's recap the answers real quick. Rachel, it's a body of water. Masood says it's a stinky fish, and Ben says the stinkiest fish. That's what makes it so special, as we've heard in the question. And Ben says it's a boat that a god could fold up and put in their pocket. Did I get all that right, folks? Excellent. I'm getting no input from the chat so far. I love when that happens. That means I get to a vote in the chat for Ben. But I had already made up another vote for Ben. But I had already made up my mind. Oh boy. Ben is getting a lot of support in the chat. But look, once again, I had already made up my mind that I think it is the stinkiest fish. It just sounded right. Masood gave me some details about the pronunciation. That was very helpful. I think that the skidded bladed near would be the stinkiest fish. That's going to be 5 points to Masood to start us off. That's our first 5 points tonight. Easy win for Masood. Stinky fish. Makes sense to me.
Here, that is incorrect. No! It is actually a boat by the Norse gods. Starting off on
boat.
Skidbladnir.
Skidbladnir. I had it right the first time.
Yeah.
Tried.
Shocking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. We're going to round 1, question 2. We're still in round 1, but we're going to go to the next question here. The chat's a little not less than thrilled with me, misinformation. But once again, I'll remind you, chat, that I here am the host, and I'm here to decide what sounds right. Masood sounded the most right on that. Sorry. Let's move on. Question 2 of round 1 is, where did famed indie artist Bon Iver go to record their debut album For Emma Forever Ago? Okay, did we get all that? Here's what this one comes down to. The album For Emma Forever Ago from Bon Iver, the recording artists. Where did they go to record this? That's the question. We're going to go to Masood first for his answer. Masood, please.
Yeah. He's actually went to somewhere in the Midwest. It's in the woods near Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Had a little cabin out there, set himself up, hunted his own food while he was sort of like off the grid. It was a whole thing, and it ended up being what led him to who he is today.
Wow. That sounds like an incredible adventure and a great place to record this album. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, Emma Forever Ago, Bon Iver was getting in touch with like the feelings that he had like a long time ago. Emma, famously his first love. So he went back to his hometown, his childhood house, and recorded the whole thing in his childhood bedroom, so he could stay in that sort of like comfortable but like nostalgic feeling.
Oh, another great answer. 2 very different feelings evoked from 2 very different locations. So I see, again, why Bon Iver would want to go to be on site in these places. Rachel, what's your answer?
So this is actually really interesting. He actually recorded the album at Emma Stone's house. Emma Stone is, they've been friends since childhood. They grew up together in Minnesota before she went to Hollywood, and he became like, he also went to Hollywood for a while, but then he came back. He's been around different places. But she actually has like a recording unit in her home in LA. He's like, Emma, if I can use your recording unit in your home, I'll name the album after you, and that'll be like how I pay you back. So for Emma Forever Ago, that's like, because that's like basically how he paid for the album. Like, let me record it here, and I'll name it after you.
Okay. Rachel, so let me ask you this.
Sure.
Was the album originally going to be titled Forever Ago, and then he added the F4M as sort of like a pre-title?
He didn't have an album title yet for it. He's like, I just have some songs I want to record, and if you let me record them, I will include your name in the album title. And then he made it sound, it wasn't just for Emma or thanks Emma for letting me use your recording unit. It was like for Emma Forever Ago, so it sounds like pretty and still sounds like not arbitrary.
It does sound pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he like wanted it to be like for Emma like recently, and then it just took too long, and eventually he was sort of apologetic with it?
Yeah. I stayed on your couch forever ago. Thank you.
Yeah, like forever ago, like I've been trying to make this album forever, and thank you for helping me finally make it.
Can I have a QQ for Masood? Like a QQ? Yeah. Are you implying that like Bon Iver, like noted, like soothing, puts you to sleep Bon Iver, hunted and killed his own meat while making his debut album?
Out there scavenging for his own food completely off the grid in the woods of like Northwest area near Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Dude made good art after feeding himself like a real human. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow. You know, listen, all three of these are strong answers. And once again, chat's not giving me a lot of input here on these answers. Chat, wake up, help me. Sometimes when you tell me, I do go with your answer. Sometimes, not always. We all know that I've become the villain on this show somehow. But listen, here's my reasoning right off the bat. This is what I'm going to tell you. Masood, this is a great story, but I don't think that person is hunting. I don't think Bon Iver's hunting his own food. I just don't. That's the part that's bringing me skepticism. Rachel, the part about your answer that is bringing me skepticism is that he knows Emma Stone. We all wish we knew Emma Stone. It doesn't mean we do. And I just don't.
Wait. Do you not think famous people know each other?
Yeah,
that's like the first thing famous people do is they all know each other.
One of them's from Birdman and one of them's from music. These are two worlds apart. These are two different worlds. Emma Stone is from Easy A. Emma Stone is from the new Cruella movie. These are all movies I'm naming that are Zombieland. I know clearly a lot about Emma Stone, and none of it includes knowing Bon Iver. So listen, I like Ben's answer because it made sense that he would want to get the vibe of nostalgia from a childhood home. That is a very believable answer to me. So that sounds right, is what I'm saying. Ben, it sounds right. Went back to his childhood home. That's 5 points to Ben.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is incorrect. It sounds great, but it's not the right answer. He was actually out there hunting and scavenging and gathering in the woods of Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Don't mess with Bone.
Ben was right though about like it being a breakup though. Like he had gotten over a long breakup and then like went out into the woods to record this album like completely off the grid. Like that was right. So like when you said that, I was like, crap. Technically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Masood, I gotta be honest, you were last on my list. I was thinking he might know Emma Stone.
It's just great. Like you gotta like those nice guys are also like in tune with nature, and it's like I need to survive myself. Thank you for sustenance, and then twist a rabbit's neck.
Wow.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we all learned something. Masood, you're going to go ahead and get 0 points for that correct answer. Ben, you're going to walk away with 5 points for an answer that sounded right. We're going to move on to the third question in round one, which is, what is paradoxical undressing? I can't wait to hear this. What is paradoxical undressing? Very clear what this might be, maybe, or not. So, Ben, what is your answer?
Yeah, so paradoxical undressing is a thing that happens in chapter 6 of Through the Looking Glass, right? So Alice has gone into the home of the underwater shrimp, and in there she puts on more clothes, but the more clothes she's wearing, like the less warm she feels, and it's paradoxical undressing because like the more clothes thing she has, like the more exposed and the colder she feels. And it's like she has to kind of like, go through the rules of reality.
I see. So it's a paradox because she's putting on more clothes, but becoming colder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. Sense to me.
I mean,
could be right.
Yeah. The guy, we all know that the Lewis Carroll was like a little cringy. So just saying.
Sure. Some of us might know that about Lewis Carroll, who wrote Through the Looking Glass. Yes. Yep. We all know this. Rachel, what's your answer?
So paradoxical undressing is one of the stages of hypothermia. Basically, a lot of different things happen to your body when you're freezing to death. One of the steps in hypothermia is basically what happens is the first thing your body does when you're really, really cold is your blood vessels go, oh shit, we need to protect all the vital organs. We're gonna constrict, and we're gonna focus all the blood around your organs. So none of your blood is on your skin. So you're gonna feel cold because your blood isn't there to keep your skin warm. Then what happens is that if you're there long enough, your blood vessels get tired and they relax. And then all the blood rushes to your skin, and then you feel really hot. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm so hot. I need to take off all these clothes. So you start taking your clothes off. But of course, you're not actually warm. It's just your body exhausting itself and no longer able to keep your organs warm. So what happens is that a lot of times, rescue units will find people who have frozen to death who are either partly or entirely nude because they have gone through the step of paradoxical undressing where they felt hot, took off their clothes, and then died.
Ah, I see. So these people thought, oh, I feel hot. I'm going to get undressed, even though here I am in the snow, ice.
Because when you're freezing to death, you don't think good.
Actually, that makes sense, Rachel. Yeah, I really shouldn't be judging. I've never had hypothermia. Folks, for those of you who don't know in the audience, hypothermia is something that happens to you when you're super cold. Yep. To the point sometimes of being dead. So that's that definition for you. Rachel, you're getting a lot of support in the chat for that. But Masood, let's hear your answer.
I wish that this was true, that it was around dealing with the cold temperatures, but in fact, it is about David Blaine and one of his amazing magic tricks. He skydove out of a plane, and as he was skydiving, removed his clothes, and in the process somehow disengaged his parachute. He was able to free fall in a way where his parachute then landed on him, and as he rolled, he stood dressed again. It was a paradoxical undressing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Listen, why were you like, I wish it was Rachel's answer?
Yeah, because I mean, David Blaine's a demon, and I don't want to give him any more support than I have.
Yeah, Masood, I'm glad you said that because I was going to follow up question you about David Blaine being a demon.
Yeah, he's a demon, and that's the way all of his magic works. He's sold his soul to a devil at some point. He's a warlock. He's got devil magic. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Honestly, Masood, that's making your answer more believable because I don't really trust magicians.
Yeah.
Why won't you reveal your secret? Like, literally, why?
Come on.
Gotta be devil stuff.
Yeah.
I hate it. Ben, your answer is through the looking glass, Alice, clothing,
Lewis Carroll.
removing. Lewis Carroll, once again, is the author. Rachel, you said hypothermia. People take their clothes off to get cold. And soon you said David Blaine gets naked and then dressed again while falling from the sky.
Absolutely.
Once again, any of these could be true. But I have not gone with chat support so far tonight. And I am feeling in tune with the chat support on this one. Of Rachel's answer, because Rachel had all those scientific details, which sounded like it could have even been real science. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Rachel sounds right on this. That's gonna be 5 points to Rachel for.
I believe chat's wrong. It's crazy.
You get. Sometimes the chat is wrong, and that's just how the game rolls. Well,
unfortunately, the chat is not wrong.
Oh,
Rachel gets the points because she's right. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh
Science.
boy!
Science.
Wow, we got one right. Me, of course, misinformation. I don't care if we get it right or not. I only care if we sound right.
I'll be honest. I'm really glad that when I got the point that I was also making Will Actually happy.
Yeah, well, people like Will Actually, and so do I. Will Actually is my best friend, and so the only reason I ever celebrate getting an answer correct is so that Will Actually, feels better.
Experiences joy.
Yeah, because he loves that. He eats it up when we give points for right answers.
It really does make me happy.
Yeah, warms his heart. All right, we're going to move on to round 2, but not before I announce the scores. It's 5 to 5 to 5 to 5. Nope, there are 3 contestants. It's 5 to 5 to 5. It's a tie so far at the end of the first round. It could be anybody. Rachel, heading in. I got the sense that your confidence was teetering, but now here you are. You're keeping pace. You're doing well. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. You know, I came into the show a little bit jittery because my computer was like acting up, and I'm like, oh, am I going to miss the show that I was so excited for? I wouldn't even know what I would do if I missed your show. Misinformation? Probably something drastic. I might key my own car. I'm so upset. I don't know.
Natural reaction.
That's it.
We've all been there.
Rachel, we've been so upset. You're like, I don't know what to do, and you just key your own car. For me, it's always keying my own cars.
I hate that. Yeah, absolutely. Rachel, is there anything that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, sure. Things you should know. I have my own show every week on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Joy Posting, where I hang out with the audience. I write jokes for the internet. I explain how I do it. I talk about Twitter. We all have a great time. That's one thing to know. The other thing to know is you should support us. For example, we have a Ko-fi, which is just like a little tip jar. And I'm putting it in the chat right now. So if you feel like you're enjoying the show, feel free to give us a buck or two, because this is some work, and we would love your support.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Folks, for those of you who don't know, Rachel, did you just say this, that you're a producer on the channel?
I may have skipped that part, so all of it sounded insane.
Rachel's a producer here on the channel. Rachel gets no special treatment here on That Sounds Right, but special treatment, I'm sure, elsewhere in her life. So, Rachel, congratulations on that. And we're going to move on to round two here. Round two, question one is, why does Guinness use a harp for its logo? Guinness, the beer from Ireland, uses a harp for its logo. That's a little bit of background information for you, audience. It's a harp on the logo. Why is that, Rachel? We're coming right back to you. Why is there a harp on that logo?
Sure. So, if those who are engaged with sort of ancient Greek traditions and histories know that there is this idea or concept of the Aeolian harp, which is a harp that is played simply by letting the wind blow through it. You do not play the harp yourself. The wind blows through it, and it plays a beautiful melody. And it's actually a metaphor for how one should live their life. Basically, not trying to impose your will on others, but sort of like letting the winds of change take you where they may, and like letting yourself be swept up in the currents of history.
Wow.
And the idea is that this is like a much better way to live. So the harp is that idea of the alien harp was something that the creator of Guinness was really attracted to in his day to day. He's like, that is like kind of my own philosophy and how I want to live. And so he's like creating this beer and creating this, this staple product for so many people. He's like, I really want the product, the Guinness, to represent one of my core philosophies, and that's why it has the harp on the packaging.
Wow. Rachel, that's a very beautiful answer. It's quite poetic. And, I believe that harp is a beautiful symbol. I think that's called symbolism. So thank you for sharing that with us, Rachel. Great answer. Masood, what's your answer? Why is there a harp on the logo?
Sure. So prior to British colonialism of Ireland, the old Gaelic courts used to conduct all of their sessions with harp music playing in the background. So when the British came in order to dispose the monarchy and the people in power, they destroyed harps, harp music, all of it. They just got rid of it. So then after the British left, the folks were really looking for a symbol of Irish history and Irish lineage. And since they couldn't really have access to a lot of these songs that for generations they used, which are now gone, they just, Guinness was like, we'll use the harp. The harp will be the symbol.
Oh, another great answer. Oh, this is a tough one, folks. Both of those answers sound really right. They sound really right. Ben, what's your answer? Why is there a harp?
Yeah, I mean, I wish that the answer was something like as poetic as either of those two answers. Unfortunately, the real reason is just cold hard capitalism. So Guinness famously has a 1,000-year lease on their brewery, which is why, like, even though it's like downtown, right in the center city, they're able to like continue to actually brew out of that location, right? And the reason they were able to do that was because it wouldn't have been called a lawyer then, but like the ombudsman that negotiated the deal for them was a man named Finn Harper, who got them this incredible plum deal. and in return, like because they realized like how incredible this was, they agreed to use the harp as the symbol for the brewery.
Aye, folks in the chat, folks out there, anyone watching YouTube, anywhere, listen, this is a tough one. This is a tough round. Here's a fun fact about me, misinformation. I've been to the Guinness Museum, and I really don't know who's right here, which tells me that maybe I didn't pay enough attention in that Guinness Museum. Maybe it was all the Guinness I was drinking in the museum, which is allowed. So, listen, I'm not really sure. I'm going to go ahead and guess, and I've got support in the chat here on this as well. I think Masood's answer sounds really right to me. That's the answer that sounds right. I'm getting, once again, berated in the chat, but I'm going to move forward. Masood, 5 points. 3 great answers. Any of them could be true. I'm also thinking it might be Ben, but I already gave the points. Once I ring the bell, I give the points. That's the rule of the show.
Actually, here, you are correct. It is Masood with the right answer.
I took
boy.
Ethnomusicology 101 in my freshman year of college, and that's the only fact I remember from it.
It's a good fact.
It's a great fact.
Really good fact.
It's a fun fact. Yeah.
I had my money on Rachel. I didn't trust you for a second.
Honestly, Rachel, you said, I was like, oh, maybe that's why they like had a bunch of. I was like, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah.
Rachel, listen, I was taken with all 3 of those answers. I really didn't know for sure, but perhaps something in the back of my mind stuck from that Guinness Museum after all. In Guinness Veritas, as they say. Question 2, round 2. What is a garden path sentence? What is it? A garden path sentence. What does this refer to? Masood, what is your answer?
A garden path sentence is the way to describe double entendre in a sophisticated culture that didn't feel comfortable really even saying that phrase. The British are very sensitive about anything regarding perverse things in nature, so they would call it a garden path sentence if it implied something that you might need to do out of sight on a garden path.
So it's like if something is churlish or naughty, you have to sort of divert it away.
No, it's like, oh, did you see, some British author whose name I can't remember? They included a great garden path sentence. Ooh, it was spicy. Yeah.
I see. That sounds very high society. I absolutely would believe that. Ben, what is your answer?
Oh yeah, a garden path sentence is just like sort of slang for when somebody gets like convicted of something, but like everyone knows that it's not like a serious conviction, that like they're going to be in like a minimum security prison and then like immediately be up for parole. It's like white collar crime sort of things, right? Where it's like, like, okay, yeah, we got him. Everyone gets to look good. Like as if we've convicted somebody of like an actual sort of big deal crime, but like kind of everyone involved knows that like within like 2 years that person's going to be back walking free.
So it refers to like a prison sentence, but one that's going to be an easy walk in the garden, so to speak.
Yeah, and like there's a straight sort of like path through it, so you don't have to. They're not like wondering of anything. Right.
It's not a winding path through the woods. It's a garden path. That's another great answer. This is a good round, folks. Rachel, what's your answer?
Well, those are both great fake answers. I'm impressed by how good those fake answers were. The real answer is that I feel bad because I'm like the first person like being mean, even though people are being on the show all the time. I'm like the first one, so okay. Basically,
you're breaking the seal. It's great.
Breaking the seal. So the garden path sentence is a sentence that is grammatically correct, but is constructed in such a way that people are misled as to how to parse it. The prime example is the horse rode past the barn fell. So you're thinking, the horse rode past the barn. You're thinking, this is a past tense talking about the horse riding past the barn. But then you're like, you hear the word fell, and you're like, I misinterpreted the sentence. It's the horse rode past the barn is specifying which horse it was that fell. The barn didn't fall. The horse fell.
So what about that is garden pathy? Like when I hear garden path, I'm like, it's a good thing. Like
to me, it just feels like it's missing the word that. Like that's just like an empty, like the horse that ran past the barn fell.
Right, well, that wouldn't be a garden sentence because it wouldn't be misleading. But you can grammatically take the that out. And the reason it's called a garden path is that it's like, in the historical terms, the garden path is considered one that sort of leads you astray. You're sort of wandering in the garden and you kind of get away from what you necessarily were walking towards. You get sort of misled.
A misleading sentence.
Exactly.
Okay. So to recap here, Masood's answer is it's a naughty sentence, perhaps. Ben's answer is it's you're not going to be in there for long, buddy, kind of sentence. And Rachel's answer is it's a misleading sentence. Oof, this is another tough one. These are three really great answers. Rachel did start off her answer by saying the other two were incorrect. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Rachel's answer. I'll give 5 points. Rachel, you got some good support in the chat here, and thank you for letting me know that the other two answers were not as correct as yours. Will, how are we doing on that?
That's correct, actually.
No!
Yeah,
really?
Rachel's
Wow.
correct.
Wow.
I'm shaking my head because of your logic misinformation. Just by saying that the contestants are wrong makes her right. But I will take it because she was actually correct.
I was really convinced on Ben's. I really thought like garden pet, like that's a way to call it. Yeah.
We can start it. We can start calling it that.
Yeah, we'll start that.
Yeah,
No,
and it would make
I was
sense to me.
complimenting you guys. I was complimenting you guys.
Yeah.
That's a really great fake answer.
They were. And Rachel, thank you for telling the truth on that. We don't always get that around here from our contestants. Three really great answers. We got one more in round two. Let's go for the third question in round two, which is why was the Bikini Club in Biscayne Bay shut down in 1965? Biscayne? Anyone know? Is that right? Sure.
Yeah.
In Biscayne Bay, it was shut down in 1965. It was called the Bikini Club. Why was it shut down? Ben, why was this club shut down?
Yeah. It was shut down. The Bikini Club was shut down in 1965, but the story starts much earlier in Prohibition times when in Biscayne Bay in Florida, they built an offshore like den of vice called Stiltsville, which included the infamous Bikini Club. And then even after Prohibition ended, they continued to operate criminally until finally being shut down in 1965 for operating without a liquor license and also selling underage shellfish.
Not underage people beer. Underage shellfish.
I mean, no, just
How old does a shellfish have to be before it's before it's of age?
Yeah,
like,
how old do a shellfish have to be before they can legally drink? I'm not familiar with. Is it still 21?
well, like if you don't have a liquor license, no age is good enough.
Okay, so Ben, I love this answer. The Bikini Club used to be like a speakeasy, but then when Prohibition ended, they were like, you know what? We've been operating illegally for so long. Why jump through those bureaucratic
No one's
hoops
going to come
now?
out to Stiltsville.
No one's going to come out to Stiltsville. I love that answer. Rachel, what's your answer?
The Bikini Club is what it sounds like it is. It was a really sexy club where people wore bikinis. It's just very straightforward, shockingly straightforward. You would think it was
club.
Just a sexy club. And the reason it was shut down is because, the mayor of Biscayne Bay was like found cheating on his wife, and the agreement that they came to as a couple is that the only way she would forgive him is if he shut down the club full of sexy women who were always tempting him. So that was why they had to shut it down. Just one horny mayor and one unhappy wife and a bunch of sexy girls who had to disperse like the wind once the club was disbanded. They just like went and all the girls had to go running back into the shadows of the countryside.
Wow, my gosh. That's what an answer. It's amazing how much one horny mayor can ruin, including the Bikini Club, what I'm sure was a beloved spot.
They had so much. It was Eden on Earth, misinformation.
I bet it was. I'd love to go.
I love that yeah.
Let's hear Masood's answer. Masood, what's your answer?
My answer for this is the fact. Well, first off, the truth. It is the fact that Hugh Hefner is from Chicago, and Biscayne Bay is actually a neighborhood in Chicago alongside Lake Michigan. It's where the original like Playboy Mansion, aka the Bikini Club, was set up before the city of Chicago shut them down. Had to move to LA.
And what was the Bikini Club? It was just like
it was the
nightclub?
original. It was the original Playboy Mansion experience, where like people would come in and sort of walk in, and ladies would be walking around with their like cigarette trays and their bikinis, of course. But yeah,
You know, I fully believe that they would call that the Bikini Club. That sounds like a hef move to me. You know, once again, 3 really strong answers coming out of round 2. This is a tournament of champions right here. But I'm going to have to go with Ben's answer just because I like it. I just really like that answer of this speakeasy turns just regular illegal club serving underage shellfish. You got to let those shellfish age. Come on. Let's give 5 points to that. I like the idea that they just leaned into this shady activity. Like, why stop at the alcohol license?
Oh, that is correct, actually.
Is it right?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's underage fish.
You gotta let the crawfish get big enough, or else you're gonna deplete the crawfish.
Right. Yeah, you gotta let them grow. You gotta let them procreate. That's the way of the ecologist. Wow, round 2. Incredible work, everybody. Masood, before we go on to round 3, is there anything that you want to tell the audience?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Twitter at Marudeboy, MAHRUDEBOI. I do a lot of tabletop stuff, like I mentioned. I'm really excited about one of the shows. I'm excited about all of our shows. But if you're looking for someone to watch, you can catch me out tomorrow with my buddies Indoor Recess. We play a 5th edition homebrew campaign over on the D&D channel on Twitch. It's called Generation Fantasy. It's a blast. Come by, meet the worst person you've ever met named Kent Vanderbilt. I play him, and you'll have fun.
I love that plug, Masood. Thank you so much. Let's head to round 3, folks. Round 3. It's going to be tight. If I want you to stop talking, I'm going to go like this. That's how we do it here on the show when we're running out of time. Round 3, question 1 is, what is David Lynch's nickname for Laura Dern? I can't wait to hear this. Tell me the nickname that David Lynch has for Laura Dern. Please, Rachel, what is it?
It's Tidbit.
What?
His nickname for Laura Dern is Tidbit.
Tidbit?
I just learned this. I was watching a YouTube that was part of the documentary of the making of Inland Empire, and he was having a serious conversation with Laura Dern, but his nickname for her is Tidbit, so he's like, Tidbit, I'm really mad right now. You didn't show up to shoot the movie tonight here. So his nickname is Tidbit.
Wow. I love that nickname, Rachel. Great nickname. Masood, I love you're shaking your head during this answer.
Right. Absolutely. David Lynch made a Razorhead. His nickname for Lauren Dern is Sharp Butt. That's it. I got nothing else to say.
Sharp butt?
Sharp butt.
Sharp butt. All right.
She got a very sharp butt.
Masood, great answer. Ben, what's the nickname?
I'll never forget the issue of the New Yorker where it was revealed that the nickname is Rug Dern because she showed up for like a lunch and she had like rug burns from like an amorous encounter, and he has never let her forget it.
Rug Dern. Okay, so our 3 answers are Tidbit, Sharp Butt, and Rug Dern. I hate/love all these answers. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Rug Dern. I like that it incorporates part of Laura Dern's name. Let's go with that. Let's go with Rug Dern. Could be right.
Well, actually, here it is incorrect.
What?
It is Tidbit.
Tidbit, Rachel. I gotta be honest. That was last on my list. I thought it might have been Sharp Butt.
I really.
I like he is so like 1950s like
yeah, dude.
His nickname for Naomi Watts is Buttercup. Like that's his deal.
He's so into nicknames.
From a different time, yeah.
So interesting to me. Wow. That's great. Great answers all around. All three of those are totally acceptable nicknames for a professional relationship. Let's go ahead on to round two. Question 2 of round 3, which is why was it so funny that Virginia Hall was advised to get rid of Cuthbert if he kept being a problem? I don't know. Please tell me the answer. Why was it so funny that Virginia Hall was advised to get rid of Cuthbert if he kept being a problem? Why was this funny? Why? Masood, why was this funny?
It's actually really sad because history is not kind to women who experience some kind of episode. And so Virginia Hall was in this place seeing a ghost, and everyone kept it was so funny. It's like, oh, there is no Cuthbert. There's no Cuthbert. She was being haunted, actually, by this ghost.
She was being haunted, and so it was funny to people to be like, just get rid of him.
Oh, she has hysteria. You know, they all laughed at
see.
Virginia Hall. Yeah.
Oh, it was condescension that she was being haunted.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. How inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, what's your answer?
Virginia Hall was the first female spy from America in World War II. And so it was funny because she was advised to get rid of Cuthbert when she complained about him to her handlers while escaping France, crossing the Pyrenees. But the handlers hadn't paid much attention to her because Cuthbert was her name for her wooden leg, because she only had one leg.
I see. And so everyone was like, just get rid of that guy. And
right. And it's like, that would make this so much harder.
Right. That would be even worse than a troublesome.
Weren't solving her problem.
Leg? There's a wooden leg?
Yeah. I mean, artificial.
Artificial. I don't know if it was made of wood. What time period is this? That won't help me. Never mind. It's World War II, maybe. Rachel, what's your answer?
Okay, so this is the answer. This is the real one. So basically, in the 1960s, there was a BBC comedy called "What's This Then?" And Virginia Hall was one of the characters in this kind of spoofy, kind of farcical British comedy series. And she was always being told to get rid of Cuthbert because he was causing all this problems at the manse that they all lived in. But the problem is that Cuthbert, who she portrayed as her twin brother, was actually her. She actually had gotten into this sort of farcical situation where she had told people that Cuthbert was her brother, but it was actually her in disguise. And so they ran that. That was a plot in the show for 2 or 3 seasons. Her walking in the room being like, oh no, and then coming out and coming back in as Cuthbert, and then saying we have to get rid of Cuthbert. And it's so funny because it's her.
That sounds, you said that was on BBC, Rachel?
Yeah.
That sounds exactly like something that would be on BBC. I think I gotta go with that answer. That sounds exactly like a farcical plot line that you might see on a British show like that. That's gonna be 5 points to Rachel for get rid of Cuthbert, which is actually Virginia in disguise.
Incorrect. Misinformation. Virginia Hall was a spy. World War II, and that was a wooden leg.
Just incredible.
It was correct.
Such an incredible woman.
Oh, sorry. I used misogyny to my advantage for a moment in my lie, and I feel terrible about it. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really, it could have been true though,
It could have been true.
That was kind of everyone's solution back then, I think, was just to sort of ridicule, right? People with hauntings.
So explain to me about Cuthbert being the name of her wooden leg and her handler, and why. Yeah.
No, it wasn't the name of her handler. It was that her handlers were so bad at paying attention to her because of misogyny.
Yeah.
That even though it had been her code name for her wooden leg the whole time, this guy was oh, Cuthbert's a problem? You can eliminate him.
Yeah. So there was what a mix-up. So they were like, you should just kill that guy.
Right.
And Virginia was like, not an option.
Yeah.
He's not alive. Let's go to question 3 in round 3. There's a final question, folks, and it's a doozy. Here we go. Who built the labyrinth to hold the Bull of Minos in Hercules, the animated TV show? is said to, okay, sorry, hold on. That's the first part of the question. Listen up, folks. Whoever did this, whoever built the labyrinth in the Hercules animated TV show to hold the Bowl of Minnows, is said to have invented the pulley and gave their son wax wings, which ultimately led to their son's death. Okay, so in the animated TV show Hercules, the person who who built the labyrinth and invented the pulley and gave their son wax wings, this is all one person in the show. Who is it? I think that's what the question is asking here, is who is this person? Who is this Renaissance person who did all of this? Ben, who was it?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously with the wax wings, we're talking about Icarus. And like the weird part is that contrary to the myth in the Hercules TV show, because it was for kids, they thought that it would be too confusing to use like the real name of his father. And so instead they just named him Icarus Senior. So like, because like Icarus was a character on the show, and they just wanted like one was like a shorter, like lumpier version of the other one, and it was like a funny bit, but it was like also why mess with mythology? It's like always bugged me.
Was it Icarus Senior? Rachel, what's your answer? Who was it?
Yeah, Ben was right that the person who did all these things in the cartoon is different than in the original myth. That's why the question specifies the cartoon. In the cartoon, they're like, okay, nobody really knows this guy. We can kind of throw him out and add some levity. We can add sort of a comedic character here.
And call him Icarus Senior.
Right, but that's not as funny as what they went with. What they went with was Charlie Cypress. Charlie Cypress, he was like this big chain-smoking cigar guy. His name was Charlie Cypress. He's like, hey, I'm putting wax on my son's wing.
I got a new invention today.
Exactly. Like,
Okay, great.
Like chain-smoking New York kind of guy. Because if you've ever seen the Hercules show, you know it's very broad. Like, it's very broad.
Yeah, very broad.
Yeah, but they're like, Charlie Cypress. Everybody knows Charlie Cypress. There's actually a song about it in the cartoon. But
Got it. Was it Icarus Senior? Was it Charlie Cypress? Masood, who was it? Give me a third option.
It's Daedalus. It's Daedalus, the father of Icarus from the myth. It's the same dude. I think I remember specifically, like, they show the episode of him building the labyrinth, and in it they talk about like him also inventing the pulley, which I don't think anyone can confirm or not. But then later, obviously, the show changed the part of the wax wings because Icarus became Hercules' best bud. But as I'm reading the question, I think that's a separate thing. Like the Hercules animated show is one thing, and then
and then the rest, which was also this person, Daedalus. Masood, you're getting support in the chat for it. I'm gonna go with it. That sounds right. You gave us a great name. Sounds like it could be right. That sounds right, Masood. You got it.
Yeah.
It sounds right, and it is right. Misinformation.
You terribly worded that. Yeah, I wrote that question so bad. I'm so sorry. I was just like, I think it's supposed to actually.
Okay, I almost went with Icarus Senior. I was like,
or Charlie Cypress.
Charlie Cypress is strong, yeah.
All right, folks, we are still all tied up. We're going to go to the bonus lightning round in just a second. We have time for a few questions. Before we do, Ben, is there anything you want to share with the audience?
Just if you want to follow at Femrom Live on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, you'll get to hear about our new show when it comes out. And if you want to watch the live read we did on Twitch on 2MB Studios, you can go to 2MB Studios YouTube and search for feminist romance novel 2MBS.
Yeah, do it up, folks. That feminist romance novel. We love it. Let's go. Let's see those bonus lightning round questions. Everybody, you got 1 second to answer. We're going to do a few of these questions and then declare a winner. It's all tied up. Bonus lightning round is decided by the audience. So, folks, if you want to decide the winner, go ahead and throw a name into the chat, and that's going to be who wins if they get enough of those. Let's do it. Do it up. Here we go. Tied game. What is this, Ben?
Oh, it's harissa. It's like a Arabic spice.
Masood, what is this?
It's shakshuka. It's actually what you put over the eggs in a dish common in the Middle East.
Rachel, what is this?
It's shitty blood. It's shitty blood.
Will, what is this actually?
It's mole sauce.
Mole, not shitty blood. Close,
Not
though.
shitty blood.
Next question. Here we go. What is this, Ben?
Oh, that is Wemo, the like derpiest lion at the San Diego Zoo. I mean, not lion. Yeah.
That is Wemo. That's right. Masood, what is this?
This is actually a liger. It's a lion and tiger. You can see the stripes on the back legs.
Ooh. Rachel, what is this?
That's a tiger. It's like a liger, but it's what you call it.
Will, what is this actually?
It's a liger.
It is a liger? I was
liger.
totally messing up. Oh,
Masood, you got it. It sounds right and it is right. Next question. Here we go. What is this, Ben?
Oh, that is an A348 mixing station. Yeah.
What is this, Masood?
that's actually the conjoined gallbladders of Daft Punk.
What is this, Rachel?
It's a pacemaker that you can DJ with.
It is a pacemaker that you can DJ with. Will, what is this actually?
It's a Boss RC 505 loop station.
That's basically what I said.
All right, folks, we got a caller right there. We just have time for 3 bonus round questions. We are at the end of our time. And by just a few points, we are here to declare a winner. And it was the Mr. What was your last answer?
The conjoined gallbladders of Daft Punk. That's when they stand next to each other all the time.
The conjoined gallbladders of Daft Punk. That is going to put you in the lead. That one answer, Masood, I want you to know it was that one, is going to put you in the lead for That Sounds Right. You are the winner of the night.
Oh, man. Feels good.
Masood is walking away with a diploma from 2MB University. Incredibly prestigious. Please add it to your LinkedIn ASAP.
Isn't this a graduate degree? Because then my parents will finally be happy. I just got to know.
You just have an undergraduate degree for now,
Another
Masood.
one?
You have to
Okay.
come back.
Okay.
You have another undergraduate degree. You need to come back for your graduate degree. We will see you soon.
Cool.
Rachel and Ben, thank you so much for coming on. We'll actually thank you as always to the chat. Thank you for those bonus points. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your help along the way. We will see you all next week. Stay tuned for Poof, the Magical Game Show starting at 8 p.m. Bye.
Bye.